Hi everyone, I'm Jeannie Let's get zebra strong. Today we're talking range of movement. Now I know this is quite an interesting subject and there are lots of different views out there about how we should teach people with hypermobility range of movement. Now there is a theory out there that we should be allowed to go to end of range and learn to control the joints from there. Now, I have an issue with that because, in my opinion, how can we learn how to control a joint when we have gone to end of range and in most cases literally fallen into our end of range position because we don't feel or sense what a controlled joint feels like? So I also have hypermobile EDS, and with my body and with working with my clients, what we do is significantly reduce the range of movement. So we make that range of movement sometimes 50% less than what they can do. In that way, they get to feel what a smaller range of movement feels like and what the muscles and the joints feel like when they're having to stabilize. So it significantly reduces subluxations and pain. So let me show you what I'm talking about with this exercise that you could also try at home and build into your own exercise routine at home. So I'm going to lie down. So if you're going to do this, grab a cushion if you need a cushion for your head and just get yourself settled into the ground and let your body really sink into the ground. I want you to just take a breath and just let everything get quite nice and heavy into the floor. Now, the heavier you can get into the floor, that's your stability. That starts to wake up your proprioception so that when you try and move your arms or your legs, you've got a sense of where you are in space. So I was saying about reducing range of movement by 50%. So as I feel that weightiness of my pelvis, my ribs, my head, I'm going to start to float my arms off the floor and take them behind me. But actually, I'm more interested in the weight of my body than how far my arms can go. So that's about how far I can go before I feel my ribs or my pelvis are going to change position. So from this position, my joints are having to stabilize. And then I'm going to bring the arms back, keeping the shoulders heavy, keeping the pelvis and the ribs heavy. So that was probably a much smaller range of motion than I can do. If I was doing this and allowed to go into full range of movement, I could just take the arms up and let them flop to the floor. But if you notice now, my ribs have flared a little bit and I've got a bit of a gap under my spine. So I've lost shoulder stability, but I've also lost lumbar stability and spinal stability. So long term, that's not a great support system. And then I have to try, if I'm trying to understand joint control, I don't really understand it because I'm already at end of range. And how do I get back without pulling on those joints, which again could be quite uncomfortable? So if we look at it again, nice and heavy, use the weight of the body, the weight of the shoulders to control that range. Notice how slowly I'm going because I'm working against gravity, keeping everything nice and stable. And then I'm going to bring that back, keeping everything nice and heavy. So I've got a lot more control of the movement of my arms. So I hope that demonstrates what I mean when I say about reducing your range of movement. Range of movement is something you can build on and make bigger once your body has understood what joint control feels like. So I'm not saying don't ever go to end of range. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is learn the smaller range, learn joint control, and then expand your range of motion from a much more stable base. And it will reduce pain and reduce subluxations. So thank you for coming, and I'll see you next time. And until then, stay zebra strong.